Welcome to a podcast unlike any other. Presented by the Central Pennsylvania Music Hall of Fame. In support of our local music scene. It's the Central Pennsylvania Music Podcast. Tonight's guests, Central Pennsylvania Music Hall of Fame President and Founder, Brandon Valentine. And rock legend, Bret Michaels. This episode is sponsored by The Inglewood. And now, your hosts, Daniel Keim and Alan McCutcheon.
Hey guys, you might know us from another podcast called Dark World Daniel. I'm Daniel.
I'm Alan.
This isn't our podcast, Dark World Daniel, though. This is actually a completely different thing. This is the Central Pennsylvania Music Podcast.
Integral to all the local musicians and all the local people involved in our very special music scene that we have here in Central Pennsylvania. We give them a chance to come on, talk about their stuff, learn more about them, and it's all for you guys, the ones that help support them and us.
And we're here to support you as well.
I only have one question. Who's that guy?
Hello, guys. I'm the first guest. We talked about this, right?
Yeah, during like the first other 8 takes that we did, right?
Right, exactly.
Still had to have a cheesy intro.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have this new podcast here. We're designing it as a late night talk show, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So I'm guest one.
Yes. And who are you?
I am Brandon Valentine, president and founder of the Central Pennsylvania Music Hall of Fame.
CPAAMHF. It's the CPMA.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, okay.
100%. That's
But
correct.
real talk,
Yes.
president and founder of the Central Pennsylvania Music Hall of Fame.
That's right.
You also run the Central Pennsylvania Music Awards.
That's right. Yeah. So we joke, lots of acronyms.
So many acronyms.
CPMHOF, CPMAs as the
CPMP.
awards. And here we are at the podcast. We created a new one. It's the CPMP, right?
We do have a CPMA award ceremony coming up here in March, correct?
That's right. Yeah, right around the corner.
Dude, we were there last year.
We were, and it was a great time. You kind of gave us an expectation ahead of time and still blew the door clean off the hinges.
Well, that's good to hear, man. I mean, it's ultimately a Knights of Glitz and Glam designed for, everybody to feel special and feel recognized and supported. So, we try to do everything to the nines and virtually really live up to the expectation of it being our local Grammy ceremony.
It really does feel like that. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, when we walked in, we were like, holy cow. We thought, and don't get me wrong, this is not a bad thing. This is held at the Hershey Theater. The Hershey Theater is a very large venue. And when we walked in the room that we set up in, when we first got there, we're like, holy crap, like this room's huge. We thought this room was huge. And then everyone showed up and there were so many people there, so many sponsors, so many guests, so many photographers going. Like it was shoulder to shoulder through that entire red carpet ceremony because there was that many people in attendance. There was that many people supporting something so incredible as this. And we literally got shoved into a corner almost at one point because we were like, hey, we're here to do interviews and like work with what you got. And it's like, okay, we got that. But like, we weren't even upset because it was just so awesome. There was so much good footage we got there. So many cool people we got to interview. Like the Pixies 3, I'm telling you right now, if my grandma was alive and I told her I interviewed the Pixies 3, my grandma would probably faint.
Absolutely.
R.I.P. Grandma.
Speaking of the red carpet, I mean, wow, just to see the amount of people coming out to attend and support the local music scene, you really created something special for a very special music scene.
You really did.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, that's where the origin started, and I can't take all the credit. We have a 45-person board of directors and advisory committee. So, the Central Pennsylvania Music Hall of Fame is 100% a team effort. To create something this big and this impactful, it's really been it's been amazing. We're in our 4th year now, and you're right. The amount of people that showed up to the Hershey Theater, it seats 1,900, and we sold over 1,400 tickets, sold out the whole bottom floor, sold out the loge level, and started working into the balcony. So we'll see how far we get this year.
It just keeps getting bigger every year, doesn't it?
That's right. I mean, year 1 and year 2, we were at the Whitaker Center, which I think maxed out around 700 to 800.
Mm-hmm.
Sold out both years and said, we need to get to a bigger venue. And that was a kind of a scary leap, because we didn't know how many people we were going to have. But
of course,
the Hershey Theater really seems like a home that we can have for the foreseeable future, something that we can grow into. And it just looks so classy in there too. So
Oh,
it really
does.
it really has that red carpet vibe already as a theater.
It does.
When's
And-
the Giant Center?
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe Taylor Swift. We'll see.
That would be awesome. That would be
Easter egg.
amazing.
That's right.
So now, I mean, this started out as a dream at one point, right? I mean, you're a local musician yourself, and you took it from, wow, I want to do more with the music scene, and then you took it from there to the Whitaker Center to the Hershey Theater. And I know you said it takes a team. Previously, when we talked about it, you said it takes a village, which I think is probably the better way to put it, because a team is, a team's a team, but a village is a lot of people.
Yep.
And I mean, you need a lot of people to build it up the way you did. And the thing is you didn't just do it, you did it right.
Yep.
What were the steps you took along the way to get that?
Man, I don't know. It was a lot of planning, to be honest. I mean, this was an idea for maybe 2 years before we even formulated it as a nonprofit. Really put pen to paper with some ideas and how we're going to do it. And I remember bouncing the idea off, some local musicians. And, I think the large scale opinion was like, I don't get it. I don't know. I don't see it, And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway because I think it's going to be successful.
Yeah.
There was a couple people that were like, yeah, I could see that because, recognition is good. And that was kind of the dominating factor is really, someone right now releases an album locally.
Mm-hmm.
What recognition do they get for that? Maybe a couple reviews on iTunes or Amazon or something.
Harrisburg Music Magazine.
Right. There's a couple magazines that do like, best local band. But really, fine tuning it down to the nitty gritty of, best jazz band or best blues rock or best alternative rock. There's so much talent in our area. I mean, I think annually, each year at the ceremony, I think we have over 150 nominees in, 40 plus categories. So we really try to cover a broad spectrum, and we've done that. And we're constantly searching for new ways that we can help support the local music scene. And that really led us to the invention of this podcast. I think, you guys mentioned Darker with Daniel in the open there. And, you guys had me on as a guest of your podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting in the dark at that table there, everything was just all pitch black. And
The name says it all.
Ambient
That's right.
lighting
You got
back.
dark.
Yeah.
It's dark, and you got Daniel.
That's right. And you
That's
weren't
me.
there, Alan. So it was truly.
I was
with
not.
Daniel.
I did miss that episode.
It was very
unfortunately.
intimate. It was
But
great.
here we are now, and I think, that stemmed from there. I think that's where I met you guys. And the idea for a podcast that services our local music scene, interviews, our top-notch talent or the ones that have come before. I mean, heck, we got Bret Michaels up next as the second guest, I mean,
Very
awesome
excited
stuff.
to show that.
Yeah, me too.
goodness,
Very
yes.
excited.
But
Awesome.
no, I think you're right though. I mean, I really think it's awesome that you did create some of this because, I mean, you've been in the music scene for how long? I mean, I've mentioned plenty of times on the Darko Daniel show, like we're all prior musicians and everything. But
Yep.
when you are in the music scene, and especially I think in the time frames that we have been, it's known that there is something special about this scene, Central PA, and it's recognized now throughout the entire music industry. They know. This area has it. Whatever that
That's
it
right.
factor is, there's so many that come from this area, and it's crazy. And I think this is exactly what needed to happen to really capitalize and show, especially to the music scene, not only for the music scene but for the musicians, to give them that credit to the bigger picture. That like, hey, I know you recognize this area, and hey, we performed, we outperformed, or we were on the top of our game from this area. That's only going to help the musicians. And I remember thinking when I was in the music scene, podcast wise, like there wasn't even such thing as a podcast back then, but I was like, I always wish there was somewhere you could go to like just promote yourself. So what did you do? You went to the Colonial Park Mall with a picnic table, and you handed out stickers and you tried to sell tickets,
Yep,
and that's how you
it.
promoted.
That's
But like,
it. Yep.
I love that we were able to do what we did, and now we get to be part of something that's doing this on a much bigger scale, and
Yeah.
we get to be part of that and do what we love doing with that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, even as soon as, a decade plus beforehand, it used to be you had to leave central Pennsylvania to get successful. Everybody was like, if you want to be anything, you got to move. You got to go to Nashville. You got to do something else. And,
L.A.
Right. And while that still somewhat applies, I mean, you to make it, major city access is one thing, but this area kind of started to build a reputation as like a landing spot even for regional and national acts to travel. It would be, you go to Nashville, you're headed to New York, stop by central Pennsylvania during midweek, and, our fans will come out and support you there. And I think we're kind of building up that reputation even further to get great acts, at great venues in our area. And now we're really building it up as well, with recognition of the local talent that's here already.
Mm-hmm.
So the venues can be just as packed with the local musician, because I say it all the time. Every major national artist that you've ever seen was a local act at some point.
Absolutely.
So they had to have fans in the beginning, right?
With that, our next guest, he's gonna talk about exactly that, what they had to do when they started as a band. I think this is a perfect time for us to maybe introduce our second guest.
Let's do it.
Today we have the honor and privilege of talking to the infamous Bret Michaels. How are you, sir?
I am awesome. It is great to see you.
Thank you, sir.
How are you doing? It is great to be here. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's great to be back home, Central Pennsylvania, and what an incredible day today.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting inducted into the Hall of Fame.
That's a good day.
Yeah,
it's a good morning to wake up to.
I definitely would think so.
I would think so as well. I mean, even with the Central Pennsylvania music scene being as great as it is, and you played a huge role in that over the years.
Thank you.
And of course, thank you. And I think it's special because of you. When you first heard about the Central Pennsylvania Music Hall of Fame, what were your thoughts about something like that?
Really excited. Here's why. There is such a great music scene here. And when I tell people this, I couldn't explain the amount of places we have played, Central PA, Pennsylvania in general, right? But the number one thing that it does for someone like me who grew up loving music and loving sports, I had both opportunities here. It's both played an important part in my life. And as a type 1 diabetic, music was therapeutic for me. It went much further than just, I'm going to play a little guitar or get together and just jam with the band. It was a lifestyle. And Pennsylvania here, especially in Central Pennsylvania, had so many different venues you could play. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Some were small, some are bigger. I remember going down to the Metron and winning. We thought won the Rock to Riches contest, but we tied. I think it was us and the Sharks.
I remember hearing about the Sharks. My dad used to tell me about the Sharks.
They were awesome. And you have so many great bands here and the talent. But what it is a lot of times you find talent, and then what you pray for is something like this, because it gives you the opportunity. You know what I mean? And now I say this with, still all the traditional forms of getting your music out there, but now with the internet and what you all do and what this crew and everyone's doing here, it gives bands such an incredible opportunity, no matter what genre of music. I believe
Absolutely.
music's for everybody. It's a universal language. And honest to God, man, I had so many great opportunities. But the one thing that was the best about Central Pennsylvania, and I learned from my family, is the harder you work, the luckier you get. And they teach you that.
Absolutely. So, with you even stated, being a type 1 diabetic, Bret, you've been such an inspiration to so many people. It seems like nothing can stop you. From such a young age, you work so hard to make a name for yourself. While being a type 1 diabetic your entire life, you've overcome multiple life-threatening health scenarios. And now you're about to embark on the 2023 Party Gras tour.
Yes.
Exactly.
And I got the shirt to prove it. That's just Thanksgiving, by the way. I'm trying to suck that in. Thanks, Mom.
How do you stay so motivated? How do you find the drive? What keeps you going?
Here, this is the truth. Number one, I want to say it's in the blood. So I want to give my family full credit. My dad is a veteran. Right. And he was such a fun-loving guy, but driven. And my mom the same way. When they found out I was diabetic at the age of 6, my mom didn't know how she was going to do it, but she said, I'm going to form a diabetic youth camp in Harrisburg, right? Mm-hmm. And she didn't know where to start. She just started doing exactly what I do. The motivation's got to come from inside, because let me say this, there's a lot of people that have the skills. In other words, they got the talent. They know how to withstand the spills. You got the thrills. But the number one thing you have to have, and I say this no matter what you want to pursue in life, is you got to have the will. You got to find the will when you get knocked down. It's easy when it's going great. You know what I mean? Then it's like, this is easy. But when you get knocked back, and I've had a lot of adversity, right? It's that willpower. And I give that to my family, both sides of my family. And so having said that, my mom would go out. She started asking doctors. Some were like, I don't have the time for that. And then all of a sudden one volunteered, then the next. Then we had a camp that volunteered a week. that they would let the kids, and I was the only diabetic in my school. So all of a sudden, here's all these other kids that are diabetic. And I was like, yes, I feel like, I don't know if I want to use the word normal, but I felt somewhat more normal.
Understood.
Felt less
understood.
ostracized.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
That's a good word.
That's awesome.
I could have summed it all up there. That's why you're great at this.
Well, thank you.
I'm like 6 hours later. I'm still giving you the answer.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
No, we love that. We love
okay.
that. And I was speaking of, I mean, you spoke about your father being a veteran and, the diabetes over the years. You do a lot for that. You've gone and you've performed for the troops over the years. Yes. You've done Project Frontline. You're currently working on the Life Rocks Foundation.
Yes.
What's a good way for people to get involved in something like that and help raise awareness?
Really simple. For my Life Rocks Foundation, it's a penny in. People say dollar. It's a penny in, penny out foundation. We have no administration fee. There's no hidden fee. Everyone that works with Michaels Entertainment Group volunteers our time, and we raise the money. I match it. And what we do is I want to be boutique. So what I do is if I'm playing here, we're playing the city in Hershey, we find a foundation or a charity. We know that they're great. We look them up. We know everything about them. And we make sure that the actual people that need it get the money. If it's going for me, Life Rocks, we send tons of kids to diabetic youth camp. It changed my life, because it's devastating knowing, you got this thing on your arm or this, or for me, 5 injections a day. I want to tell them, if I can do this, they can surely do it. And the Life Rocks Foundation then teams up with people like Tunnel to Towers with all the, you look at all the FDNY, and they get together with us, and we went and barbecued in a hailstorm. You ready for this? I brought a hailstorm to Phoenix, Arizona, 80 degrees the day before. We're down there barbecuing for all the veterans. And all of a sudden, in the middle of it, a hailstorm.
In Phoenix, Arizona.
33 degrees. I go, I brought this. I want you to know. I brought the hailstorm. You know what I mean? Pennsylvania-ish, by the way.
Right?
But I mean, it was, and you just see it through. You get it done. And my motto for anyone out there, again, regardless of what you want to do, is have fun. You got to have fun. Be passionate, but have fun. Get it done. If you don't get it done, someone else will, and then you won't be getting it done no more.
And to quote someone, a wise person that I think once someone said was, "You always bet on yourself. If you always bet on yourself, you can always count on yourself."
You bet on yourself is that. Thank you.
You're
a wise person. I love you for that. I'm gonna stay in this room all day.
We would love that.
I don't know how wise I was, but I know this. It is absolutely 100%. No one's going to believe in you till you believe in you, and it's tough to get people to want to come to your show if you don't want to be there.
Absolutely.
So bet on yourself. It's the number one thing to do.
That's awesome. Well, Bret, congratulations on your induction into the Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
It's very well deserved. I mean, we look forward to seeing the rest of the ceremony.
Thank you so much for your time.
And listen, I want to throw this out. We're going to do this. We're going to start it here, right?
Yep.
I'm willing this to happen because there's nothing in writing yet. So when I was growing up, they had the Pennsylvania Jam, right?
Yep.
It was incredible. Poconos. We need to bring the Central Pennsylvania Music Hall of Fame. Bret Michaels presents. May I throw that out there? Party Crawl-ish. We need to throw an annual event that has everything to do with celebrating the fans, Central PA or Pennsylvania, our friends, the crews, the families. A big, it's almost like this festival of food and fun and music, and we're just going to make it happen. And I have a date I'm looking at, right, for the inaugural, a kickoff. Maybe we could do it on Friday, July 14th. It'd be the second night. We kick off in Detroit for the Party Crawl, kicks off at the amphitheater.
Okay.
Maybe we do something incredible here. And if not that date, we'll find it, but we'll make it happen 23.
Sounds good. So,
all right, we're in on this. We're all going to make this happen.
So off July 14th?
I'm hoping it's Friday, July 14th.
Okay.
Right? That's the dream. I don't know why I made a peace sign. There was I felt like Talladega Nights where I didn't know what to do with my hand.
What do I do?
Oh my God. That's hilarious. But no, that sounds awesome. That literally sounds legendary. And I absolutely, anything we can do to help and be part of that, we will absolutely do it to promote.
Well, we'll make this team. We're going to put the team together and make a big thing because it's celebrating the fans. I don't know, like when we were here for the stadium this summer, I want to tell you something that was electric. Like I ran out on that stage and it was, look at that, I get the chill bumps now.
Yeah,
It
you
was,
do. Got 'em too.
I'm not making it up. It was electric. I ran out there and I knew I was pointing at people from high school. I'm like, dude, do you remember? No, I can't say that on stage. Like it was, but it was, what a great day. We're going to bring that 3 generations, maybe 4 generations out to party.
That sounds
That
awesome.
would be fantastic.
Right. Love it. Thank you all very much. Happy holidays to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. You as
Yeah,
well.
Thank you, my friend.
Nice meeting you as well.
Nice.
A little every rose has its thorn. We both lie silent as still in the dead of the night. Although we both lie close together, we feel miles apart inside. Well, it's something I say or something I do. Words that come out right. Though I tried not to hurt you, girl, though I tried. I guess that's why she cried. Every rose has its own, just like every night has its dawn. Just like every cowboy sing a say a song. Every rose has its own. Yes, it does. Pyro. Ba 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 ba. Listen to my favorite song, playing on radio. Hear the DJ say love again, love is a coming, is a go. But I wonder, does he know? Has he ever felt like this? And I know that you would be here right now, fighting on the ledge, you know, somehow I guess every rose has its thorn, just like every night has its dawn. Just like every cowboy sing a sad song. Every rose has its thorn. Though it's been a while now, I can still feel so much pain. Like the knife that touch of the wounds healed, but my scar, that scar remains. No, I could have saved the love that night if I known what to say. Instead of making love, we both made our separate ways. Now, you found somebody new, and I never meant that much to you. To hear that tell me up inside.